was still and quiet. Fish were nowhere to be seen, or birds, or trees. Alas, the sky and the oceans and their wholesome manifest. Abruptly, the gods joined hearts and nourished life and joy. And so, man came to existence. Plants sprouted, and mountains rose, as did the colors of the clouds and the waters, and animals too, as Mexico too was born.
The United Mexican States, commonly referred to as Mexico, enjoys a rich and diverse culture with various regions developing individual identities. But the people of Mexico also display a strong sense of national identity. Many of the regional identities are influenced by Meso-Indian culture, such as Mayan, Aztec, and Nahuatl. These indigenous influences can even be seen in everyday language, where elements of the principal Indian language, Nahuatl, are incorporated into Mexican Spanish. Other influences on language are abundant, with Mexico boasting more than 60 indigenous languages. In addition to Indian influences, Mexican culture is also shaped by the influence of Spanish colonials. Prior to Mexico gaining independence in 1821, Mexican culture slowly emerged through a process of accommodation between the indigenous cultures and Spanish colonial domination. This process of accommodation lasted for nearly 3 centuries. A major component of Spanish influence was the spread of Roman Catholicism throughout Mexico. Today, Catholicism is practiced by approximately 76% of the population in Mexico. In many cases, the indigenous peoples of Mexico accepted Catholicism only within the context of their prior religious beliefs. For example, the Virgin of Guadalupe, the patron saint of Mexico, was associated with the goddess Tonantzin. The result of such synthesis of Catholicism and indigenous beliefs has led to what some refer to as folk Catholicism, being the true principal religion of Mexico. It is the beliefs of this personalized brand of Catholicism which pervade everyday Mexican life and shape the moral standards of Mexico. The wide acceptance of Catholicism and its moral groundings may explain in part the large power distance displayed in Mexican culture. It is accepted among believers that the Church possesses sole authority and may speak on behalf of the community when concerning religious matters. However, the Catholic Church in practice has been a very powerful institution in Mexican history. At times, the relationship between church and state has been openly hostile, so that the influence of the Church reaches well beyond religious matters. The result is that in matters not just religious, a central authority has been accepted and expected to hold power for a people who themselves have little power. Guided in part by Spanish domination and by the Catholic Church, it may be hard to believe that people who have suffered so much along their history have such a strong celebratory mood. Every single holiday, national, religious, or local, has its celebration. The most famous of these celebrations are the Fiesta de Cinco de Mayo, the celebration of Independence Day, and the Dia de los Muertos. Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, is a traditional ritual celebrated by most Mexicans. The day is observed on November 2nd. It is a celebration which shows that every Mexican still remembers family and friends that have passed away. People usually leave food and other favorite belongings of one of the dead on their grave to show they are being remembered. Family and friends also make an altar with candles and pictures of loved ones that have passed on. Another important ritual in Mexican culture is the quinceañeras, or the quince años. This is a young woman's celebration of her 15th birthday. It is celebrated in a unique and different way from all other birthdays. The closest equivalent in the English-speaking world is the Sweet 16. The lively and celebratory nature of the Mexican people is not only seen on special days of celebration, but every day throughout the year.
Mexican hand gestures, lesson 1. We'll start with some basic examples of Mexican hand gestures. Yes. No. Many. Lazy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Respect for centralized authority is a recurring theme in Mexican culture, and as such is the chief value of Mexican people. In addition, Mexican people take a great deal of pride in both their national and regional identities. In addition to these values, which arise from the synthesis of Spanish and Indian influences, Mexican people also value strong belief in the divine, family security, responsibility, and conformity to societal norms. Throughout its history, Mexico has synthesized multiple influences, largely those of the native Indians and those of Spanish colonials. Today's Mexico combines these influences into a vibrant and lively culture. Mexico boasts a 98% literacy rate and sees itself as the 12th largest economy in the world. Future outlook for Mexico is a bright one.